Before you, the Nephilim, a old warship, Navy warship. It sits on the surface of this planet. Battered, a little, yes. Weather beaten, for sure. There is power in the ship. And you see a humanoid figure stand in a window, power behind them, some kind of lights or something illuminating them. And then a moment later, gone. All three of you saw it. You cannot mistake this. The USS Nephilim sits on the surface of this planet. It is not a spaceship. It is a seaworthy 20th century battleship. What do you do?
Fair to say we all make sand rolls?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Heinrich. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Dr. Chandler, you, well, tell me, how is it you resolve this within your own sanity really easily?
I mean, I think I will, in passing my check, I think I will disassociate. And so I will, as I have, describe the factual circumstances to my crewmates of exactly what is in front of us. But it's all descriptive. There's no processing happening. So I am not exercising any deeper thoughts of like, how could this be possible? Or how is a water-based vessel in space? None of that thinking is happening. I am just going purely on superficial experience right now.
So with that superficial experience, that factual exploitation, you will only lose 1 point of sanity. Whereas our failures, you will both lose 1d6. Could ask you, Captain Stone, a 94 over 59, and you, Pilot Maria Ortiz, an 88 over 55, to roll me a 1d6.
That's 2.
4.
Down to 57.
Okay, do track those fifth values for me, please. I'm looking forward to the I'm not. I'm really concerned as we approach potential fifth value breaking points. Just, as and when. We see you there. Can I ask, with that moment of Captain, that moment of realization of what's going on, perhaps it's not a realization, when those 2 points of sanity drop, but in the real world for Captain Stone, you have a moment. What's the captain thinking?
Captain is a little concerned that, when his, they told him that this was all going to be real easy and full of, glory, maybe he shouldn't have believed them so much, and maybe they should have sent a slightly more qualified captain.
And all it's taken is 500 days hibernating in space and finding an old United States World War II warship on an alien planet.
And the Orpheus shipwreck. And Baines not making it through his hypersleep. And Sven smoking too many cigarettes on board the ship.
He's surely not smoking. Surely not.
That's right. No, he's not. He's chewing gum. Ortiz, same for you in this moment, 4 sanity points. It's not quite a bout of madness as we know, but that is significant. That is a knock. How can you describe that knock of sanity to us, please?
So I'm feeling an immense amount of grief. I feel like my expectations were that we were going to be the first humans here, and although I tend to want to be a humble person, I was taking pride in that. So this is one stripped away that expectation that I had about this journey, but it's also a hint of I'm not in control here. I don't know what this is, and that's scary. So I do spend some time crying, which is very inconvenient in my suit.
Yep.
It's not a pleasant experience, and perhaps I do drop to my knees as I'm just processing my emotions that are coming forth.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I think it's in that moment, Pilot Ortiz, that you drop to your knees and all the lights are focused on the USS Nephilim. That you see in front of you where you haven't traversed yet. There are boot prints leading to the USS Nephilim. What do we do, crew?
I think for once, Dr. Bill is going to be the one leading the way. And as we see from Pilot Ortiz's perspective, these boot prints, we suddenly see another boot sort of step on them as they walk towards the ship, and Dr. Bill carries forwards.
Lovely.
This sort of gets Stone moving as he's like, yeah, no. It's time to. They've asked for rescue. They've obviously gone off course quite a bit, by several hundred years and several thousand miles. So obviously, this is why they have sent out the signal for help.
I take a minute, just kind of getting my bearings again, and then I see my two comrades a bit further ahead than I am, and I scramble to my feet and catch up.
I think I will, over private channel, ask the captain, like, Captain, Pilot Ortiz appears disturbed. Request permission to assist.
Yeah, that's fine. You can help out Ortiz, I say, over the public channel.
Excellent. Can I, when we have a chance to, like, have a moment of stillness, I will try and do some psychoanalysis and see if a combination of that and any of my first aid stuff I have on me can keep Ortiz on this side of temporary insanity.
Well, I think as we're moving towards the ship, there's a minute or two as you move towards it, and I think as we move towards it, I'll allow psychoanalysis that you can observe Ortiz's movements. You can probably hear them over the public channel, which is all relatively open unless you choose to close it or open a private channel. So I think the psychoanalysis role is fair game now as we move to the USS Nephilim, and that might inform anything that you'd like to do in the future.
With any medications that I can use, can I get a bonus die on that?
Yeah, go on. Absolutely. What medications are we going to use?
Nothing like as strong as we used on Sven. Really, I am just trying to make sure that Ortiz, like, it's a chill pill. Like, it's just something to help them focus. There could even be some caffeine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. So yeah, let's go with a bonus die on your psychoanalysis roll of Maria Ortiz, please.
I may just roll twice because I don't know how to do a bonus die, but let's see. Let's see how roll number 1 goes. Oh, extreme
nice.
Success.
Well, you can just to see if you roll a 1, 2, or a 3.
Oh,
at the bottom of that box,
fair. You
can click the words bonus and penalty, and that will give you your bonus roll. Absolutely not. That would change to 10. So we're sticking with 4 out of 40. Yeah. Dr. Chandler, Dr. Bill, what is it within the psychoanalysis that you were attempting to decipher out of Ortiz? Was there anything specific?
I am not. This is not the time to do any like long-term tell me about your childhood type psychoanalysis. I will instead as I am medicating Ortiz with like whatever I can put into the suit, right? I imagine we have like hookups.
Yes.
And
yeah,
I will draw her attention to like specific aspects of the ship, like focus exercises, essentially. Like, look at the third letter of the word that's on that wall. What is it? And in kind of getting them to focus on these things, I'm hoping that maybe they can get back a point of sanity or something like that, something to just help them out on the next sanity hole.
Okay. Yeah, two things I think I'd like to do here. Probably going rogue with the rules here. Apologies, Mr. Mason and Mr. Fricker. Leslie, can Maria Ortiz roll, first of all, a sanity roll, not to lose sanity, just to see how this psychoanalysis is accepted? Success, fantastic. Right, could you roll me a 1d4, please?
4.
Oh my word, that's disgusting. 4 points of sanity. Well, this is what I asked for, so I can't renege on the deal. I don't want to be known as a deal breaker. But yeah, I think what Dr. Chandler here knows what they're doing. They've managed to spend some, even in these few minutes walking towards the ship, they have helped you regain a sense of self, a sense of awareness, a sense of location. I think Dr. Chandler for you is becoming, I don't know. Well, you tell me, Pilot Ortiz.
I think that my focus is coming back to the mission. So it's like, okay, I've spent time, I've had the emotions flow through me, which is cool, and now I can put that to the side and kind of box it while we focus.
Excellent. I think the doctor has provided you with an alternative reassurance role there. A hard space reassurance role is how I'm seeing that. Fantastic. Really, really good. Really lovely. So with that, you do approach the ship, and it's only a minute or two until you find a kind of access up onto the ship. You can see that the ground is kind of raised in one area, so you can climb up onto the outside deck. And it's not long before you realize that one of the bulkhead doors is open, leading to the internal aspect of the ship. Can I ask for a marching order, please?
Captain Stone first, sorry. Lead from the front.
Captain. And then, Captain, who would you assign to be your second?
Ortiz.
Okay. And I don't need to ask you who would be last, because we all know it would be Sven. Right. Brilliant. Well, there is this bulkhead open on the door. In fact, actually, Captain, I'll give you two options. There's, as you climb up onto the deck, you can still see that there's power on within the ship. You can still see that there are flickering lights, mainly towards the kind of the midsection of the ship. The back of the ship looks relatively vacant, and the front section of the ship seems to have lights flickering every now and then. But there are doors. There's one immediately at the front, a bulkhead door that kind of leads in with a metal handle that you can twist and open and go in. But then in the midsection of the ship, there is a door similarly with a circular metal handle that you could turn around, but it's already open. Captain, which door would you lead your team through?
Probably the first one.
Okay, brilliant. Give me a strength roll.
Okay.
You grab that, Captain, and with all your authority, you twist that wheel, and the door screeches an almighty metal on metal grinding screech. The ship rattles as you do it, and the door creaks open to reveal a series of corridors you may have seen in historical documentaries. As much as you know your ship, the Orpheus, and the metal grids and bulkheads and frames and wires, this is such a, well, unique historical vehicle. Do you move on? Do you go through?
Oh, yeah.
as you go through, you can see that there's a number of rooms, but as you're going through those rooms, as you're going down that corridor and you see these rooms, a number of them are just in complete stark darkness, but down the far end of the corridor, a door lays slightly open and you can see a light flickering further down the hallway. And as that light flickers in that regularity, you do see a shadow coming from within that room.
We come in peace.
This is Captain Stone of the Orpheus. Please identify yourself. Respond to SOS.
What? Who's there?
This is Captain Stone of the Orpheus.
Captain Stone, where's your ship, Captain? This is my ship.
You sent out the SOS.
Yeah.
You're a long way from home, sailor.
I know. This figure kind of stands in the doorway, half hanging on, half hanging out, and you can see them there in a captain's naval uniform from the 20th century. I don't know where my crew is. I can't find my crew. I can't find my crew. And he kind of drops to his knees. This man, this human, is wearing a naval uniform. He is not wearing a vac suit.
Captain, permission to examine.
Well, what's your name, sailor?
I'm Captain Patterson. Ronald Patterson. Oh my God, I woke up and I can't find anybody. I don't know where we are. Nothing's working here. The radio is working. I couldn't even find our signalman. Oh my God. What? Are you people? What are you wearing? That's not... You need to get that light out of my eyes.
These are special suits we're wearing for your rescue, okay?
Right. I ain't seen nothing like that before.
I'm gonna have our... I know. They're specialized. We're a special unit here for your rescue. I'm gonna have my doctor check you out. Is that okay?
I can't... Yeah, I need... My head really hurts. I can't find my crew. I need your help find my crew.
Right. We gotta worry about you first, though, right?
You could find my crew. He just kind of sits against the wall now, almost just exhausted, and he's just kind of crying to himself. Yeah. What do we do, guys? Captain, what do your team do?
Should I be rolling first aid, medicine, or biology?
Well, are you? So that's what you're doing, going over, is it?
Yeah, I'm gonna examine
Chandler?
my newest patient. I hope he doesn't need sedative, because at this point, I don't know how realistically much I can be carrying.
I've been carrying 5 bags of sedatives with me wherever I go, just in case. Can I ask you? Well, what is it that you're trying to accomplish here, Dr. Chandler?
Oh, establishing humanity, things like that.
Well, I think a biology role perhaps might be your first. Right. Science biology role might be the first attempt.
Do I kill the patient?
Well, you don't.
I start an autopsy. I'm just like, all right, I'm back.
Oh God, what are you doing to me? You fail. The failure doesn't mean
I critically fail.
You do critically fail.
Push it.
Yeah, you could push the roll. You could really critically fail. I'd like to examine his tonsils with this gun.
Um,
I didn't give him
okay,
a gun.
I will push the roll,
I don't like Dr.
and
Bill.
I propose that if I fail my very poor bedside manner, because we've established that Dr. Bill is not, the most social person,
Absolutely.
puts off this individual so much that maybe they struggle and become unmanageable, maybe even violent.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
All right. But we're not going to have to worry about that because I have an 85 in biology.
Oh,
There you go.
I was going
There
to
you
say,
go.
you said that last time. Okay, so with a push roll, and good work for pushing it, a 41 under 85, which is a hard success. So we are now looking at you, Dr. Chandler, who is doing a biological examination of this Captain Pattinson. And yeah, mouth open, lights in the eye, checking around the neck, ligaments, looking for skeletal structure, organs, breathing, a number of things that you try. They look like a human. I mean, he's right in front of you, and he kind of, you're doing all that, and he's like, ah, God. Doc, is this really necessary? Okay, yeah, okay. What do you want me to do? Bend over and cough? What the? Like, just what? What's going on here?
I will get up and I will say, individuals' lymph nodes are slightly inflamed. Further analysis by autopsy would be required to conclusively establish
Whoa,
how
autopsy.
subject is able to, and I'm sort of talking about how they're able to sustain, the gravity, the temperature, the atmosphere. I mean, the number of things that should be killing him right now. It's like it will be a competition.
And that is significantly a point of curiosity. I'm not going to say it's a particular SAN loss because you have just all undergone the sanity of finding this ship, finding this person. There is a hell of a lot going on here, and I think the aggregation of marginal gains here has allowed a certain sense of acceptance of these things. And seeing this person now not in a vac suit or any type of suit, and yet is surviving, is incredibly discomforting to all of you. But he does kind of get up after the examination. Whoa, okay, yeah, yo, hey, wait, look, I appreciate you looking out for me, Doc. But I gotta find my own Doc. I gotta find my own crew. I gotta find you gotta help me. What's going on here? Could you all roll me a spot hidden? Maria Ortiz, our pilot, 33 over 40 success. Captain Stone, 60 versus 65 success. But our doctor, oh dear, too busy examining this biological wonder for you.
That's right.
A 62 over 45. Ortiz, Captain Stone, you, as this is going on, you almost hear or see. I'll allow you to decide which. I think it's a C because it's a spot hidden rather than a listen roll. But what you see is through any other shaft of light, only very fractionally, only very quick. It's almost as if something breaks the light momentarily. Something else breaks the light momentarily somewhere else, never in the same place. There's a slight tapping. It's almost quiet enough to ignore, but it's piqued your interest because of the slight movements. Can I ask, Pilot Ortiz and Captain Stone, do you react to this at all?
Yeah, I think so. I gotta go and find out what this tapping's about.
Okay.
My reaction would be to start asking Patterson some questions. So, how many crew did you have with you?
Um, I oh my head on the Nephilim, we had a full crew, 116 crew. Um,
Oh, oh, okay. All right. How long have you been awake? Do you know?
maybe like an hour. I don't know. I kind of woke up. I couldn't find nobody. I got to the signal room. I can't see shit out the windows. I don't know where we are. Navigation's not working. Our sonar's not working. Our radar's not working. I got to the radio room and it was working. I can't work. I am not an electrician, you know? I captured my men.
Right.
I captured my men. I got the SOS out. I don't know where my crew is.
Well, you did a great job. Did you happen to hear anything or see anything in the time that you've been awake?
I don't know. I woke up with a, oh my God, my head. I woke up and I've just had this headache. I had a nosebleed. I, I, I was running around, trying to find my senior officers. I couldn't find nobody. I couldn't find nobody. And
Okay.
uh, oh my head.
Patterson, you've been very helpful. Maybe you can take a seat right here. And I like put him over to the wall. Just stay against the wall and sit down there and we will take
Yes.
care of this.
Excellent. Captain, you said you were going to be interested in investigating the noise, tapper, tapper,
Oh yeah.
tapper.
Oh yeah.
And what does that look like? You're interested in investigating the tap, tap, tap.
I'm just like trying to follow it. I'm listening closely. I'm trying to see if I can't see where it's coming from.
Okay, um, hmm. Okay, if we're going for the tap, 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 you've registered this is the thing. Let's get a listen roll to see if you can locate specifically where this is coming from. Ooh, okay, 68 over 50. Would you like to push the roll?
I would love to push the roll.
Yeah, you would. Alrighty. Well, because we didn't set parameters as to what would be a negative consequence in pushing the roll before we rolled, I feel like it's my duty to just flat out take control of that and failed push, and
Nuts.
and just assign the death warrant. I mean the next move of Captain Stone. Okay, I'm gonna say, Captain, you hear this. And this is on top of the noise of the rain, you know, and the wind lashing at the side of the ship. It's that noticeable. You follow it. You go past the captain. You look into the room he's come from, where this light was flickering from, and you can see a really old, incredibly old-fashioned radio room, very much in nature of this. But the power is on. There doesn't seem to be power anywhere else in the ship, but this specifically has the almost kind of like typewriter-esque machine that is hooked up to a series of headphones and dials and knobs and hertz and communication devices. This is old school radio, Morse code, messaging a la World War One. You know, this is old school. This is horrifically something that you would have had in a history lesson whilst you were at school. But as you're in here, you look at that SOS communicative device coming from outside, but you're drawn to it. There seems to be a small obsidian-like nodule on the radio panel. What'd you do, Captain?
Oh, I'm gonna go and mess around with that obsidian nodule.
Yeah, you are. And as soon as you do with this pushed failed roll, you walk over and touch it. And as you touch it, in fact, the millisecond before you touch it, this almighty noise racks the entire ship. It's almost like a signal or a frequency that is so powerful it invades beyond your vac suits, all of you, beyond your brain. It seeps into your inner being and it vibrates you to the highest possible point. You find yourself absolutely shattering within. Could you all give me a power roll, please? And these are going to need to be good rolls.
One good power roll. Here we go. Well,
Is a
it's
hard
a
roll
fine.
good? Oh.
Okay. Nice. And as you reach out, and I imagine, Captain Stone, because you reached out, a hard success, 25 over 60. Our pilot, 55 versus 55. Oh, nice. XP, nice. And Dr. Chandler with a 65 over 70. All successes, but unfortunately, not quite successful enough. Captain Stone will come to you in a moment. Maria Ortiz, Dr. Chandler, you hear this sound. You hear it begin to invading your mind. You see Captain Patterson on the floor holding his head going, oh, God, no, not again. No. And his nose is bleeding. And he's just kind of sitting there holding his head. Moments later, you feel, and you, Dr. Chandler, you both feel the incredible pain within your head, and you begin to feel a weakness in your body. You might drop to one knee, you might drop to another, but you drop to the floor, and you drop into unconsciousness. Captain, with your failed listen roll and your discovery of this obsidian black nodule, you hear exactly the same thing, and it racks you in exactly the same way. You think perhaps with your proximity to the nodule, your experience may be different to your crew members. And as you begin to drop to the floor, you're able to retain consciousness for a moment longer. And in this radio room where the light is flickering, you see these silhouettes creep into the room. You see these silhouettes that don't look human. Step. Almost like stick form. Moving in this incredibly inhuman way. And then you just hear this. And then another one in a slightly different pitch. You feel, even though your body is going numb, your right leg being lifted as if you weigh nothing, and your body being slowly dragged from the room. You're dragged out onto the deck of the boat. You see Pilot Ortiz, you see Dr. Chandler and Captain Patterson all being lowered off the side of the boat, but your world is swirling around you. You're seeing this, but you're not quite believing it. Eventually, you find yourself on the floor, Captain Stone, and as you're on the floor, you realize that the four of you are being piled onto some pad and being dragged, or you're not actually touching the floor, but you're being moved away from the Nephilim. The last thing you see, Captain Stone, before you lose consciousness, is the silhouette of a pyramid. Well, that's the end of the scenario. You all fall unconscious. Can I ask, in a sentence or two, and we'll perhaps start with Dr. Chandler, then we'll go to Captain Ortiz, and then to Captain Stone. What is it in these moments of unconscious restoration? Where do your thoughts or your brain or your memories or your dreams go? Any one of the above. It might be a thought, it might be something your character's remembering, it might be something your character's hyperfixating on. What is it from the experience thus far?
I think I am having an out-of-body experience of sort of soaring across this landscape. So that we have maybe some ethereal music going on as it's sort of like flying over it, right? Flying over the pyramid, flying over the landscape, flying over the ship, and then our ship as well.
I love it. Okay, brilliant. Pilot Maria Ortiz.
So I am thinking about the landing from the beginning, and this time there's no black hole. I'm just experiencing the landing exactly how I was expecting, and it goes wonderfully, and I just am a bit of a state of bliss.
Nice. Fantastic. I love it. And Captain Stone.
I feel myself, kind of back at the ship, and I catch Spin, and he's smoking. I just think to myself, man, he shouldn't be doing that.
Somewhere far, far away in your subconscious, you hear a. Excellent. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna ask you all for a Constitution roll, please. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about me. I'll just be over here napping.
Okay, so this is lovely. So Maria Ortiz, a 92 over 70 failure. Our Dr. Chandler, a 94 over 60 Constitution failure. But our Captain Stone, a 6 versus 55, an extreme success. So, Captain, it's almost as if the experience of almost touching the obsidian object has stayed with you. It's haunting you somewhat. That you were the last to fade from consciousness, and then you have these series of visions that I will explain very loosely. One is that the silhouette of the pyramid appears to get closer. Two is that you feel that you are pushed through some kind of wet film as you enter this pyramid. Three, you momentarily feel like you are being dropped in a pool, but that pool is warm, almost like a jacuzzi, but rather than it being open, it's like dropping perfectly into the water and holding your knees and not needing to come up for air. Oh, you're on mute, Captain.
Sorry about that. Do I got my spacesuit on?
You think so?
Can I move my arms and try and feel it?
You can, yeah.
Okay.
You can begin to move your arms, and you recognize your spacesuit is not on.
Oh man, these guys pervs taking my spacesuit off. I'm gonna try and swim out of this pool.
As soon as you stretch to swim out of this pool, you realize that you are confined to almost the fetal position. There is some kind of rubber texture surrounding you.
I gotta bust out. I'm gonna try and.
Okay, with your bare hands. You
Do I have my gun on? If I have my gun on me, I'll use my gun, but I don't think I do.
Well, I'll tell you what, give me a luck roll, because you had a gun and a shotgun. Did you keep your gun on your uniform? Because I imagine you carried your shotgun on the outside of your suit.
I'm not that lucky.
Not that lucky. So
but you do have a bonus die if you want it.
Oh, I do have a bonus die? Okay.
And potentially a scalpel from the doctor.
All right, let's do this. It's a 2
27.
Yes.
Perfect. A 27 under 70. Thank you for the reminder, the wonderful Heinrich Moore there, sponsoring luck rolls wherever you play.
Heinrich wanted to see me start shooting the gun in my little pod thing. It's of course what I'm going to do.
Excellent. Can you give me a firearms roll then, please? In fact, actually, I don't even know if I assigned you with the firearms roll, because this was something you found later in the game. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see that there is dice, a dice symbol. Sorry.
I have my handgun skill. Do you want me to just roll that?
Oh yeah, you've got that. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go for that, please. That works a doozy. Oh, or not. Well, you still fire, but it's
Yeah.
a failure. I'll
Am I in
tell
point
you
blank
what you
range?
do. You are, well, not quite. No. There's a few things going on here. Remember, this is a rail gun. It is not a. It does not need the hammer. It does not need the explosion, the infusion of projection. What this is a magnetized gun. So within here, you fire, but as you fire, you are aiming up by
Yeah.
your head. And what you do is you fire, and as you fire, it goes out of this rubber-like material and hits this almost like arm stalk thing that seems to be holding you, and tears into that. And your whatever this is, this fetal position rubber-like cup drops to the floor and hits the ground and rolls, and the liquid inside starts gently plopping out, gushing out of this small bullet hole wound. But you are now lying on the floor. The rubber sack is now kind of like restricting itself and tightening around you in this moment. What do you do, Captain?
Now I'm gonna try and bust out.
Okay, give me a strength roll.
All right.
And because there's a hole in there as well, I imagine you can use it as a vantage point.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So gun in the hole, fingers in there, ripping and tearing, and you kind of rip yourself out, Lulu. You look like a beautiful newborn captain.
I look like Frank coming out of the couch on It's Always Sunny.
There you go. Yes. Great episode. Yeah, and you just kind of rip yourself clear. You are dripping in this purple-like substance. Captain, as you look around, you see something that you have only witnessed in science fiction films and your own personal horror. You see a room that is filled with these pods, some empty, some occupied. You see your pilot, Maria Ortiz, curled up in the fetal position in one of these pods. You see William Bill Chandler, the doctor, also in one of these pods. You see the room itself, the walls, the floor, all smoothed and round, tunnel-like in nature, but they aren't made of stone. They are organic in nature. They are a purple, pink, fleshy substance. In some areas of the room, you can see small growths, lumps and bumps, the occasional mushroom poking through. This is an unusual biology. I'm gonna need a sanity roll, please.
That's fair.
I want to succeed this. Oh, you did. Good work. 37 out of 57. Okay, that's still 2 points of sanity lost, please.
Okay.
Do everyone keep track of their 5th marker? I'm looking forward to that time. When I support you through a difficult time for your character. And okay, Captain, you're looking around and you're seeing this. This is just horrific. You see your pilots, you see your doctor. What do you do in this moment?
I gotta go get Ortiz out. Gonna go get Ortiz first.
Okay.
I'm not gonna use the firearm. We're gonna start with the scalpel.
Okay. Excellent. I think give us a dexterity roll on this one, please.
Okay.
Again, you begin cutting into the sack, and as you begin kind of carving around, you don't realize how close the rubber is to Ortiz. And as you do, as you come past the shoulder, you actually slice through the top of Ortiz's flight suit and shoulder, not the spacesuit because she's not wearing it, but you actually cut through. Captain, can you roll a 1d4 for me, please?
Yes.
I want to see how deep this cut was. Two points of health there, Pilot Ortiz. And as you peel back, you see that blood wells up within this purple liquid that Maria Ortiz has been kept in. But you can peel back a layer of this skin. and wash her out onto the floor. Describe that moment for me, please, Captain.
Yeah, just kind of peeling it all around, like messing up just a little bit. Like I'm gonna tell her that the aliens did that, and then keep on going until she just spills out. Like,
And Maria Ortiz, you spill out onto the floor, you choke a moment, the purple liquid gushes out. There's a moment where you have to take a breath, and then you also look around. Captain, are there any words you say to Maria Ortiz before she looks around and has to induce sanity loss?
so the aliens hurt you earlier. I definitely didn't mess up with the scalpel.
Aliens? What? Oh,
We need a
ow.
deception roll there. What's
You know, Captain, just leave me. Just leave me inside.
This is where Doctor ends.
I can fast talk roll if you want, Newman.
Yeah. Give us a fast talk. Yeah. I want to see if. Yeah. Ortiz 100% sees you still holding the scalpel with blood on it, and is just like looking between you and the scalpel and her arm, and it stings. It's really, really painful. The purple liquid on it as well, Ortiz, is really, really painful. You don't feel like that it was supposed to be internally. Not necessarily ingested, but exposed to your internal circulatory system.
Look, Captain, I understand. You don't have to lie. I'm grateful. Just we need to maintain our trust in this kind of weird area we're in. Just we're fine. We're fine.
You promise you're not mad at me?
No, but it hurts. You need to get the doctor.
I feel like he would want to be left behind.
Yeah.
I need him.
I think he probably likes this. Are you sure that we should get the doctor?
Yes, I'm sure.
All right, yeah, okay.
This is the second, essentially, pod orb womb-like rubber gelatinous sphere that you're going to, Captain. You can see that there's actually wires. There are devices that are plugged into this organic flesh, not just these pods, but everywhere. They're almost like a circulatory system around this entire environment. And you can see that there are projected data screens and things, not the same as the ship. Very alien, very unique, but you can recognize that they are interactive data panels in languages you could not comprehend. Do you release the doctor?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so the doctor is released in very much the same way. Can I ask whether you use a gun, a scalpel, or a kind word?
Just go with the scalpel.
Excellent. Once again, a dexterity roll, please.
All right.
See if the doctor survives this. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not spending that luck, Heinrich.
Do you want to push the roll? I mean, the scalpel. You can once again in a similar fashion. You're cutting through, but it's not the shoulder this time. It's lower down on the forearm. It's the inside of the forearm actually. And as you're cutting, you kind of see that you cut through the skin. And Doctor, do you in your unconscious state react to this? I say unconscious. Semi-conscious state. Your unconscious state, the answer would be no, surely.
I think I will impulsively kick out. So as I start feeling pain, I will kick out.
Okay. And as you do, the tear that the captain has made just literally rips open rather than folds out like it did, and you are washed onto the floor with a quick succession. And the pods that you were in, they've all darkened, they've all dulled in their purple hue that illuminated the area. XP, have I asked you for a sanity roll?
Not yet.
So,
I'm prepped.
There you go. Sanity roll, please. And from you, Dr. Chandler, please, as you look around and you see these womb-like purple-hued rubber orbs. So a success from Maria Ortiz, fantastic. and a success from Dr. Chandler. It's still in this environment, in this locale. Captain Stone, I think it was 2 points of sanity loss, wasn't it? So that is 2 points of sanity loss, please, for you. Unless you'd like to roll again and fail, Heinrich. But yeah, 2 points of sanity loss just because of this alien environment. You are seeing flesh walls, flesh floor, circulatory system of wires. It's this incredibly alien mesh of technology and organisms, which seemingly have created this. Well, you don't quite know, and I shouldn't really explain it any further. You, in the distance, though, unmistakably, all of you can hear. You can hear movement. You can hear a vibrating noise. What do you do?
I've wrapped my arm, and then I'm going to try and do first aid on Ortiz.
Excellent. Okay, let's have a roll for that then, please. Ortiz, what are you doing? You're having first aid on your shoulder, but is there anything else you're doing?
I'm just asking Captain, what are orders? This is uncharted territory.
I think we should leave, right? That we should go home.
I suppose that's an option. We do have these pointing to the pods to perhaps do. I mean, I feel some sort of responsibility for these people that are here.
Do you know?
All right, let's get cutting. Let's get them out.
Most of them, there's a few of them that are empty. There's a large quantity that are full. But I'm going to ask you, as you say that, and as you point that out, Ortiz, I'm going to ask you, and anybody else who'd like to join, for a spot hidden, please. Ortiz and Chandler, you can see that there are other, humans in these pods, very much in the same way that you were, although you were in there in your clothes, minus your spacesuits, but with your clothes. Everybody else seems to be naked in these pods, these wombs, these sacks. Captain, a closer look going up and pushing almost your face near the, I suppose, the rubber translucent film. A lot of them don't appear to be fully formed. Some are missing noses. The skin is flat. Some there is a hand which has yet to grow, yet it is on a fully grown forearm. Others there are no ears. Some there are no eyes, or 3 eyes. They're all humanoid in nature, but they're not. Should we say, I think the word that comes to your mind, Captain, unless you tell me, they're not finished.
Right. I'm going to tell them about this. And also point out, look, these people are nude. They wouldn't want us to bother them while they're nude.
I'm not
see it straight away.
sure.
You see everything the captain's just seen.
Well, just practicing empathy here. If I was in the pod, which I was, and you saved me from the pod, I was happy about that, and I wouldn't be unhappy even if I wasn't wearing my clothing.
All right, well, what if you were like unfinished, I don't know, like being grown in one of these things, and like you were also nude?
Well,
then I wouldn't want to be woken up.
This is a question for the keeper. Do we see any that are finished? Like, are any of them a fully formed human?
Ortiz, brilliant question. Not in this room, but you see that this expands beyond this room. There are small tunnels, enough for you to be able to go through standing tall, but they are spherical in nature. They're not flat walkways, which you would expect from your own species. But there are tunnels that lead into other rooms.
As this debate is going on, I think Dr. Bill's gonna, start walking.
Okay.
Brilliant. I'll say that there's a tunnel on either side of the room. Dr. Chandler, Dr. Bill, which one would you choose? Let's say there's a tunnel to your left and there's a tunnel to your right.
Left is always the right way. Let's go.
Okay. You walk into another chamber and it's not too dissimilar to the one that you were in. In it, you see another 4 pods, much like the ones you were in. One of which is empty. 3 of which have humans in human males from what you can see, but you'd need to inspect closer to see any further details.
I will try and encourage my crewmates to keep moving, so I will call back. Is my voice box okay? I can speak with...
Seems to
Okay.
be, yeah.
Okay.
The liquid
Not
doesn't seem to have
clogged
done
up
any
with-
damage.
Okay, good. There are more pods here.
Do you follow through, crew?
Yeah, I'm like, all right, well, we gotta get going, Ortiz. So, guess gotta leave him alone.
Okay. I might be back, and then I follow the captain.
That's fine.
As you walk into the next room, you can see that behind you. So if you look straight ahead, there's another tunnel that leads on. But behind you, where the tunnel you just came through, there is another one about a 90-degree angle away from that. So each room appears to have 2 tunnels. In the room that you're in, there are these 4 pods, as I said, one of which appears to be empty. Do either of you two look closely at these 3 other pods?
I would inspect them pretty closely.
You don't need
Are they
to roll.
nude?
They are nude, yes.
Then I'm not gonna look at them.
Okay. Then, Captain, you can very much make the decision on where you're leading your crew. Let's say whether it is north or, let's say, southwest. But just before we make that decision, Ortiz, as you look at the pods, you look into the first one, and you can see Captain Patterson sleeping soundly, almost hugging himself. The calmest you've ever seen him. You look into the next pod.
I'm sorry, does he have clothes on?
No, he doesn't. He's completely naked. But for cinematic purposes, the way his knees are up to his chest in a, shall we say...
PG-13, I got it, yeah.
Yes. You can see the outline of his rather muscular buttocks, but I'm afraid there's no frontal view going on here. That's for a different Twitch stream. Ortiz, you see in the next pod Captain Patterson, and in the next pod Captain Patterson.
I would like to roll sanity.
Thank you. You guys are so good at reminding me about sanity. Thank you. I love those silent pauses, the pregnant pauses so much. It's just that's where sanity should always be. Thank you. That's a 24 versus 53, so that is a success. But I think without doubt, there's at least 1 point there, please, or it is that we're going to lose. We don't need to make a dice roll there, but. There is something, you have seen. You've just come from a room where the 3 of you were in these pods, and then there was 1 or 2 other almost kind of blank-ish humanoids, whereas in this one you have seen 3 Pattersons.
Do all the Pattersons look exactly the same to my ability to look?
Maybe slight differences. One, the hair hasn't grown very well. There's another one where the torso seems quite shrunken in. There's one where the feet look because they're up with the knees up, the feet look quite curved as opposed to not just like a, a rounded footfall. It's quite a significant bend in the foot, things that you wouldn't expect from a human physiology. But you hear, almost from the next room, I would say, Captain, the southwest room, you hear a, oh God, oh my God, I can't, are the crew in here? Hey, Jameson! But from the northern tunnel, Captain, another route you might like to take, you hear,
Yeah, North Tunnel time. I can't be
Yeah?
talking to Patterson anymore. Yeah.
I thought to myself, you know what's gonna happen is Patterson's voice is gonna come from both tunnels.
Nice.
That'd be creepy.
Should have done that. Next time. You go into the north chamber.
I think fair to say that we're still letting the captain lead the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think protocol of being a part of the Wayland mining company, as much as you aren't a military expedition, you are under similar expectations and contractual obligations in terms of following your captain's orders. You march into this north tunnel, and you see that the chamber has got several floor-to-ceiling cylinders, varying diameters, lots of different materials being used. But you see some of the larger ones appear to have like a dark metallic liquid swirling around in rather beautiful patterns, almost as if there's some kind of circulated mechanical instruction to it. Others contain pale yellow vapor, and others again opaque patterns reminiscent of other things. But you actually see there are wires reaching in. Some of them you recognize technology of your time. Others you recognize old circuit boards. This is within these cylinders, within these liquids, within these swirling materials. These are humming with a sense of power. And by that I mean a power source rather than any mystic power, an electrical power, shall we say. Do you move in further? Do you go the other way? What would you like to do? I'm aware you're in a very difficult situation, crew.
I'm going to go in further.
Okay. As you go in, each one of these cylinders, a small, almost fungal-like panel kind of raises itself next to each of the cylinders, and a series of symbols is illuminated on each of the fungal surfaces.
Okay. I don't know. Do I see like any like iPods or like Zunes or something? Like
Big red buttons.
yeah, I don't know.
You see the symbols you see seem to be a number of letters and numbers that are indecipherable. There's no known language that you can perceive.
Right. I just got to press them at random, I guess.
Okay. Can you give me a luck roll?
Yeah.
Maybe by virtue of my biology, am I worried at all that this could have bad consequences?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. It would be
I
like
failed my luck roll.
Okay. Dr. Chandler, you're probably thinking, this is the equivalent to a child walking up to the deck of the Orpheus near a primordial black hole and just pressing random buttons. And is this a dangerous thing to do?
Yeah, I think that may be enough. So let's use the neural jammer on the captain.
Excellent. Captain, can you give me a power roll, please? Oh my word, would you look at that? 60 out of 60. Captain, you go up and you press a few of these buttons, and one of the canisters in front of you begins to swirl down. As it does, liquid begins pouring out. You can see that this is outrageous. Like, you've pressed something, you've done something, and this metallic liquid is now spilling to the floor. Ortiz, you're witnessing this whole event. Dr. Chandler, could you describe this moment as you pull out this neural jammer?
Yeah, actually, I just point at the captain, and the camera maybe takes note of the ring that our Dr. Bill is wearing, as well as the fact that the ring is on the arm that got cut by the captain, and the purplish liquid has like finally started sleuthing off. And Dr. Bill had just done a very quick wrapping, but it is evident, even so, that there is no blood that comes from the wound.
Captain, this neural jammer is pointed at you, and even with your success, there is a moment here where your head feels as if it is compressing and at the same time repressing. There is an extreme pressure and pulling at the same time as the doctor points at you. Ortiz, you are seeing this. You are witnessing this moment where your ship's doctor is pointing with this hand that has this cut without blood and this almost as obsidian-like ring on his finger. And as he points at the captain seems to drop with a headache. You can see that blood begins to run from the captain's nose as he drops to his knees, trying to withstand this whatever it is. What do you do, Ortiz? I feel like in this moment you might get the first move.
I would, as quietly as I can, back out of the room, like slowly trying to back away.
Excellent. Can I have a stealth roll, please?
Yes.
This is like a classic Scooby-Doo moment. Okay. You back up into a control panel. As you do, your hand hits some buttons, and the glass cylinder kind of vibrates and begins to crack. Dr. Chandler recognizes this. I would say in both the north door to this room, this being the next room, and the northeast door to this room, not the southwest door that you came north through into this room, you see silhouettes, these stick-like long kind of movements, these almost very inhuman long-legged silhouettes appearing in the door, and these almost reflective eyes peering through, the light shining off the displays on their eyes. You see that there are these gigantic glass-like eyes with a number of refractive panels on there as staring at you. Doctor, you can see the captain has dropped to his knees. His nose is bleeding, but he doesn't appear to be passing out as you'd
I don't think the captain is a threat. I will turn to Ortiz at the sound of the failed stealth roll, and Dr. Bill will say, Pilot Ortiz, do not be afraid. And at that you hear, first, because Dr. Bill has to go out the way Dr. Bill lived, with a large release of flatulence. And that is joined then by a wet tearing sound as the doctor's skin becomes loose, almost reptile-like, snake-like, and you see a silhouette with stalks begin to emerge out of the back of Dr. Bill. The only thing that doesn't sort of stay with the original body is the voice box, which gets pulled out and continues to function.
I've remembered. Ortiz and Stone, give me a sanity roll, please. Oh, you rolled it before I said it as well. That's fantastic. Okay, so we have a 21 versus 51 for Ortiz and a 36 under 55 for Captain Stone. So both successes, but you are both going to need give me a 1d4, please.
To be clear, I feel like they succeeded because I told them not to be afraid.
That's true.
That's
I
what
feel
made
this.
the difference.
Absolutely. So 2 points of sanity lost for Ortiz, 4 for Captain Stone. Please let me know if you cross those fifth thresholds, please.
Not yet.
Yep, I just did.
Okay, so a little bit of indefinite insanity. I am more than happy, XP, to work with you here on what this indefinite insanity looks like for you. I have ideas. Does anything come to mind for you?
I think yes, actually. I think that I would try to emulate the body posture of Dr. Bill and try and blend in with these creatures.
Excellent. So I think with the indefinite insanity, we'll add just a little bit of flavor on top of there. Not that you think you're one, but that you are fully convinced that you are convincing them that you are one.
Excellent.
I think we will, and this is a significant long term. Well, it's significant. This is potentially the rest of your life. Insanity moment that we're experiencing here. Okay, excellent. I love it. Thank you.
Just like to draw attention to the fact that the captain, when he looks over at the horror show that Dr. Bill is turning into, opposite our Dr. Bill is now Pilot Ortiz, moving in a similar fashion.
Absolutely. I'm going to just describe what it is that you see, not from Pilot Ortiz, who is clearly replicating this, but the thing that you see exit via the back of Dr. William Bill Chandler. You see this pinkish crustacean body about 1.5 meters long that slides out of the skin and uniform of Dr. William Chandler. You see that there are a pair of dorsal fins, these membranous wings, and several sets of articulated limbs, each that look like these long pointed sticks, very crustacean or insect-like, sort of convoluted ellipsoid, covered with across the head a number of antennae. And where the head would sometimes be, that seems to be the focus of all of these antennae. You can see in this moment that Dr. Chandler, even though it has these extra appendages, seems to be standing on its rear two legs. Captain, you can see that your pilot, your number 2, appears to be either joining in or directly trying to threaten this insectoid creature that Dr. William Chandler appears to be. What do you do in this moment?
Well, I've obviously gone in the wrong direction because there's gross guys over to the north of me, and I don't want to be around here anymore. So I'm going to take a run for it.
Excellent. Let's have, just for a minute, as that thought hits you, what's your dexterity, Captain? And then Ortiz and Chandler.
65.
65?
Gonna be 45 for me.
And 60.
Okay, Captain, you can absolutely start to run.
My only request would be, as Captain Stone is running out of this room, that he hears the voice box sound of Dr. Bill saying, "Captain, I require your assistance. Where are you going, Captain?"
Excellent. Excellent.
Why don't you go fart about it, you weirdo?
So you're running. Which direction are you running in, Captain?
Well, north has those guys, right? I kind of went up to the north room for this one, so I've got to be south.
South. Okay, so you run back into the room where you saw multiple Captain Pattersons. At which point of this, you see like hands and faces pressed up against the rubber material that's holding them, and you can just make out the words of things like "My crew, where are they?" Like pushing against the sacks. You can run straight through. There's another door to the south.
Yeah, keep on moving. Keep on moving.
You run into the south again, more pods, but in this one, and Ortiz, we're going to join you in a second because I want to find out whether you're following the captain. This could well be your route as well, unless you have alternative plans. You run into the next room, and when you get into there, you kind of see there's a few more pods in the next room. Though beyond that, you can see that there is this membranous wall, and there seems to be a small sack of unusual shaped items. Captain, I'm going to ask you for an intelligence roll whilst I go back to Pilot Ortiz. So could you give us an intelligence roll, please, Captain? Okay, would you like to
I
push
can spend the
roll?
luck for that.
Or spend the luck, even better. I haven't seen many luck expenditures, if any, actually, so that's good news. Let's get rid of that luck. So that is a success then, Captain. Yes?
All right.
Excellent. Right, Ortiz, you are taking a rather insect-like crustacean shape and arms up, back arched, moving, fingies pointing, trying to project antennae. With your moment of insanity, when you see the captain run, and you are, even though you are insane to a degree, you do still have some faculties. You do still have survival instincts. What do? Do you stay here and attempt to ingratiate within this new found species, or do you follow the captain?
Okay, so I'm gonna follow the captain. I'm going to first kind of like tap Dr. Bill on the shoulder and be like, hey, hello, make the connection, and then scurry after the captain.
Okay. Dr. Chandler, is there anything you do once you're tapped on the shoulder by the human Ortiz?
I will languidly follow at a leisurely pace.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so Ortiz, you follow behind. You can see the captain almost kind of running through the next corridor as you come through the one behind. Captain, your luck rolled intelligence roll reveals to you the membranous door before you. You remember it on the way in. That was the membrane that you were pushed through on the paddle. You know that this leads to outside of this horrific biological internal structure. You see this rather extended organically packed series of things by the side of the door. It's something that catches your eye, but it's up to you whether you do anything with it.
So what do I see by the door?
It's almost like well, you can give me a spot hidden roll if you like, just to give it a bit more clarity.
Sure.
And as you're doing this, the pilot Ortiz will join you, and beyond that, you can kind of see the silhouette now of this insectoid-like Dr. Chandler kind of moving slowly behind you. Captain, with your hard success, you can see that there are your vac suits.
All right, then I'm gonna put on my vac suits.
They're in a membranous frame. I assuming you rip it out.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not trying to be gentle. It's a vac suit, right?
Tell you what. If you can get it on within the time, Dr. Chandler will arrive as you leave the membranous wall or door. If you don't succeed in this roll, he will get there whilst you are mid-vac suit attiring. Can you give me a strength roll, please, to see how, or an alternative roll to get your vac suits out of this membranous package?
You want me to roll strength?
Well, I think strength, but if you'd like to roll something else, like before you use your scalpel,
Dexterity?
used a gun, dexterity, you could be dexterous with this, you could find a weak point and rip it, sure.
All right, I'll do a dexterity roll.
There it is. You rip it open, Ortiz comes in the room, your vac suit's there, Ortiz's vac suit's there, Dr. Chandler's vac suit is there. Doctor, you're not quite in the room. Ortiz, are you...
Oh no.
Mm.
Okay, I think he's back.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry. Shall I repeat that?
Yes, please.
Ortiz, are you? You're all dead. No. Ortiz, are you? Are you joining the captain in putting on your vac suit?
I am not putting on the suit, but my intention is to follow him. But I can't put on the suit, otherwise I won't be part of the insect world anymore.
Absolutely, 100%. Okay, so captain, you're putting on your suit.
Yeah. Kind of being
Okay.
like, okay, Ortiz, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Excellent. You put on your suit, and you kind of like push yourself through this membranous wall. Can you give me a power roll? And actually, Ortiz, are you pushing through the membranous wall as well?
Yes, I will follow the captain.
To the outside of the planet. Perfect. Wow, Captain, look
Wow.
at that. You've been through here before. You were semi. Oh my. Okay, Captain, you like just merge through it and push out. It's almost as if there's just a slow step behind that's kind of, just knocking you slightly. Ortiz, again, you following that, and you almost follow a slipstream through that, and you end up onto the surface of Nyx. And what do you do? Are you planning to what? Where are you going? What are you doing?
Back to the ship.
You can look on your HUD, it's loading up. You roughly know the direction. You know where the Nephilim was, the USS Nephilim. You know where the bridge was. You know where the ship was. Even without your AI-assisted direction, you could probably make it back. Your oxygen tank reading is at 43%. To get back to the bridge and to get to the ship will be about 40%. If you lose your way, you might not make it, and you are aware of it. Ortiz. You're not wearing a suit.
How's that going for me?
Can I pull it back in?
Okay, so the not great, Ortiz, is the way I
Not
would
great,
best. You walk out onto the planet's surface, and as you get out there, your lungs immediately begin to contract. The dots of acid rain that land on your skin immediately begin to burn. You see your flesh begin to fire. I don't know if Captain looks back and noticed this, or whether he is full on running with the expectation that you are running with him. But Dr. William Chandler, you push yourself, or should I say, Dr. William Chandler, your alien self, your true self, your MyGo self. You push through this membranous wall, and with one of your pincer-like appendages, what do you do, Dr. William Chandler?
Well, as I'm coming through this membrane, I still have the leftover skin of Dr. Bill that's sort of hanging down the front. So it's sort of just dragging along like a deflated puppet. So coming through the membrane, it first looks like it is in fact Dr. Bill, and then Dr. Bill's arm raises, but actually it's one of my appendages that's just raising the arm on its way to reach out to Ortiz to try and pull Ortiz back into the safety of the membrane to save her.
Do you allow this to happen, Ortiz?
Oh yeah.
Excellent.
My
I'm
new
going
friends.
to need you to roll a 1d6 damage for the acid rain and the lack of oxygen on that as well.
That is 6.
Okay. What's your half hit points?
6.
Oh, so we've taken you to your halfway point in one dice roll. Okay.
Correct.
Could you give me a con roll, please?
Yes. Failure. 79 over 70.
So the last thing you see before you fall unconscious, Dr. Ortiz, is being pulled back through the membranous wall and being covered by Dr. Chandler's flight suit and skin and cradled into this gigantic insectoid's arms and these alien insectoid eyes looking down at you in, well, is caring the word? Dr. Chandler, what word would you describe the way you look at Ortiz? I'm not convinced it is caring.
Oh, it's absolutely caring. We need that skin.
Oh, well, there we go. In a very caring manner.
Roll
You're drawn
first
back.
aid.
Okay, you actually do you know what? Give us a first aid roll. Let's have it. I want to see.
I think Stone was just like, yeah, Ortiz is dead. Like, definitely just dead. Like,
Yeah.
she just committed suicide right behind me.
Well, you don't even see where Ortiz goes, Captain. You're running
Yeah.
ahead. She's pulled back into the membranous wall.
No.
Dr. Chandler, you are with your intellect and no longer restrained by your human suit, able to take Ortiz to the appropriate medical station within this facility, and you are able to begin repairing that skin to make sure that it is in, I believe the Mygos use the phrase, fine fettle. And to make sure that it can be possibly used again at some point.
And listen, if we can save the brain, that's cool. That would be great. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Well,
This is a valuable resource.
I like it. In a minute, I think I'm going to ask you for a medicine roll because Ortiz is now unconscious. So if we're taking Ortiz's physical body to a medical environment where we're going to look after the skin, there's no reason why we can't attempt to extract the brain and protect it for future use. But I will need a medical roll on that, please, Doctor. Captain, you are running. As I mentioned, oxygen is significantly low. It's dropping. You're running. You're pounding this ground. You are running as hard as you can. Sweat is pouring from your brow. Your HUD seems to almost burst into life. This display on your arm, and you can see your dot. You can see the ship. I'm going to ask you for a constitution roll because I want to see how you are physically pushing yourself, how much you can push yourself. Now I would say, and I'm just going to throw this out there, I know you've rolled it, but I'm a generous psychotic keeper. You do have the capsule that gives you a bonus die.
No, I think he's used it, hasn't
Did
he?
you use it?
Oh yeah, I used it earlier on luck.
Oh,
yeah,
of course you did. Of course you
successfully
did.
break out of the membrane.
The good
But
news
luckily,
is
I also have a lot of luck.
you do have a lot of luck. Okay.
So I'm going to
Use some luck?
spit my luck.
That's okay. This is a good chunk of luck. How much luck have you got left?
I still have 42 luck left.
Yes, excellent. Okay, well, the good news is not only do you use luck and you succeed on this constitution roll, you begin to really feel. Apologies, I didn't mention it earlier. I must have glazed for a second looking at the rules and things. You begin to really feel the effects of the capsule that you've burst in your mouth and you've swallowed and you've ingested that. This is a tablet that you put in there with the knowledge that you could really give yourself that edge. You could really give yourself that push. Crunching the ground, Captain, step by step by step. Thought hits you. Who gave you that capsule?
Oh shit.
Your legs are feeling heavy. You're fighting it. You are fighting it with everything, Captain. Pound, foot in alien dirt, foot in alien dirt. Yeah, you actually bypass the Nephilim. You've managed to kind of see it in the peripherals and run around. You get to the bridge. You see the bridge. You're getting tired. You're getting sleepy. Focusing, pulling yourself together. The effects of that tablet are not what you expected. A delayed response, but nonetheless, you know that he has put something in that tablet which is affecting you, and you are dragging your ass back to the Orpheus. You get to a certain distance, and that symbol that started blinking out before appears. Bing! And you hear a very familiar voice. You hear Athena. Captain Stone. Captain Stone. Have you achieved Objective 2?
Yeah, get ready for takeoff, Athena.
The Orpheus is not ready for takeoff. The ship is still being repaired.
Well, hurry up preparing it.
I will speak to... I will speak to Engineer Green. and then she goes dark. You're pushing yourself. Give me a luck roll. I reckon you're on about 10% oxygen at this point. Wow. Whatever you do, maybe the tablet that you've been given by Dr. Bill Chandler has lowered your breathing. It's given you this sense of tiredness, but in that you're saving oxygen, let's say. That seems to be the logic narrative there. And you are plowing ahead. Your feet are pounding. You're fighting this sense of drowsiness that's dropping upon you. This sense of unconsciousness that you have already felt today is reoccurring. You know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But you're managing to maintain high levels of oxygen, and that's keeping you awake, fighting this drug in your body. And as you get there, you see on the horizon, there is the Orpheus. It's right there. Sven seems to be standing about 50 feet away from the Orpheus.
Sven, what are you doing? I told you get ready.
Captain, I've seen things.
Yeah, doesn't that make you want to like go repair the ship and like get off this planet?
I tried the repairs, Captain. This is months of work with a crew. I thought about taking the escape pod, but I've seen things in the ship, Captain. They're like insects. I just need to smoke. And he begins wrestling with his helmet.
Don't do it out here.
I can't. I need a cigarette. What'd you do, Captain?
I'm gonna try and stop him.
Okay, let's have a contested strength roll.
All right.
Okay, come on, Sven. My sheet's being super silly.
I'm not spending the luck on you there, buddy. This is on you.
Come on, Captain. Use up the rest of your oxygen.
Just say that to him. Okay, and strength is 60. Let's just get a little dice roll in here. 1d100. Oh, so he's got a success of 59 under 60. You have a failure of 81 over 50. As you reach out, potentially to stop Sven taking off his helmet, you don't get there quick enough, Captain. I just want a cigarette. And he just drops back onto the floor, cigarette in hand, and the rain is just dotting his kind of face, and you see just little kind of burns just as the acid rain is kind of bouncing off his skin. Captain, you're left with an Orpheus that is not ready for orbit. The only option that lies before you is an escape pod launch into orbit. You're very welcome to try.
What else am I gonna do?
I really thought that you were going to end the scenario there, where it's revealed that this is a 90s anti-smoking commercial. Like, this whole thing has just been leading up to this moment. Like,
I really like. I kind of wish that I had killed him so that I could do the Commando Schwarzenegger thing. I told you those things would kill you one day.
Don't mind my friend. He is dead tired. Okay. I think what we see is the cinematic moment. And I tell you what, Al, I'm really happy for you to co-narrate this before we kind of flash to a little something. You've got the ship. The ship is broken. In fact, it even looks like it's more broken now, seeing it in this different light, seeing it from the outside. It's not just 3 hull damages. It looks like the entire thing has been, it's had its back broken, essentially. And you can get back on. You know where the escape pods are. You know how to get there. It's just a matter of, can you with whatever roles you want to offer me, can you get this escape pod into orbit?
All right. So what I'm thinking is, I've got dexterity, and it sounds like there's a bunch of like Nego and stuff on there, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. You can begin to see the silhouettes kind of there as well.
Yeah, and so it's a dexterity basically for me to try and get beyond all those guys, and then I think maybe like a spacecraft ops to get the escape pod up and off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, then I'll start rolling.
Let's see them dice. Okay. So starting off, spacecraft ops, a 24 versus 65. So that is initially our the escape pod is kind of firing up, switches on, and it is old school switches. This is not something that has been relatively updated with the technology. So this is literal tap down switch, green button that looks like it's like something from an arcade from the 80s, and you are clicking and tapping a number of things. This with the escape pod, you all would have been trained meticulously in the use of an escape pod, and you hear it. You begin to feel it. There's a pressure that's building here. You do get this kind of small, old school, like an actual screen rather than a digital panel kind of projection, and it gives you 3 optimal routes. Route A is between 2 mountain outcrops, but that seems to be the shorter route out of the orbit because you can loop into the orbit's kind of rotational pull and use that to ping you out. More dangerous, slightly more difficult. Number 2 is directly up. Number 3 is back the direction you came for a similar orbit, but you know what's out there if things don't go the way you want.
So, I mean, are we talking about risk and time between the 3 options? Is that really
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to take the least risky one that takes the most time.
The least risky one that takes the most time is the direct shot up.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, roll for luck.
All right.
Nice. So with this, what starts to happen is that you're, again, tapping, you're taking your time, you're programming different aspects of the escape pod. And you actually to is the point where you can hear like on the outside hull, but you know you're closing in, you know you're getting to that moment. And can I ask you, Captain Stone, that when you finally put in the trajectory, when you finally take the time, you've got your charts, you're measuring it out, you're working it out, you literally planned it meticulously, taking the time to do it, which is very unlike Captain Stone. So I think it's a wonderful moment. You get to the point where you are, this is it, now or never. You are about to push the escape pod launch button. What do you do, Captain Stone? Is there anything you say or do in this moment?
I think back to what I said, you know, as I got off, and Furs was the first man on Nyx, right? And I think I was wrong. The stars are not for man.
I love that. Your escape pod builds up and you feel it, and then there's this almighty, you're strapped in this push, this gravitational push, and gravity on this planet is different to Earth, so you feel this and it rockets you straight up, and it goes on for what feels like an eternity. But soon you break the atmosphere. You find yourself pushed beyond the orbital pull of Nyx, and you find yourself floating in the dark void, in silence. There's a slight cutaway. It's almost as if we have you on one screen, Captain Stone, floating in this escape pod. Almost through your window, you can look back and see this orange, purple hue of Nyx. The horrors the planet beheld, the unfathomable reality of intelligent life way beyond what humanity can see. Ortiz, you don't feel this. You don't hear this. I'd like to describe it to you anyway, in your unconscious state. There is a series of mechanical noises. There is a series of searing, grinding, cutting, and then the soft sound of almost a pop. You feel in your unconscious state this pressure lifted from your head as Dr. William Chandler extracts your brain and places it into this glass-like housing case, and immediately takes it over, almost uses his membranous wings and flies over Dr. Chandler. You fly over to this unit and screw it in, and these cables seep out into the water or the liquid, the substance that's holding your brain, and they sink into your brain. XP, did you see the little language that I sent you?
Yes.
This, Captain Stone, is a signal that you begin to hear being transmitted from Nyx. Would you read it for me, please, Pilot Ortiz?
Message to Wayland Mining Company. Dangerous environs. No resources of use. Please do not send any more expeditions. Too dangerous. Repeat, do not send anyone.
And in this moment, Dr. Chandler, you believe for the higher intellect and the group purpose of the MIGO that you have completed your mission. There would have been better ways to do this, but this has been sufficient. You have achieved a communication where no one has escaped back to Earth. It will take decades to get there, but when they receive this message and the lack of the Orpheus, they will not ponder on whether they should send further astronauts or mining companies out into the Tartarus system. Because, Captain Stone, you hear this message on repeat as your escape pod circles around this rather familiar pull, dragging you closer and closer to the primordial black hole you tried so hard to avoid when you crashed onto the surface of Nyx. And in that final moment, crew, it is fair to say that the Orpheus once again enters the underworld. Thank you so much for playing the Tartarus Intercept by Alex Guillotte. I can inform everybody at home that I have pleasantly butchered what is an amazing scenario, and you should 100% check it out. It is a beautiful laid out scenario. I also know the editor who worked on the scenario as well, but Heinrich's name shall remain nameless. But Alex here has written genuinely a fantastic scenario. If anybody is into that hard science fiction, there is so much more to explore in here than what we were able to today. Can I thank the wonderful, wonderful players? Al, XP, Heinrich, you guys were absolutely bloody amazing. You really kind of took this in some places that I didn't see coming. I also want to just recognize that Heinrich knew from day dot that he was playing a MIGO spy, and he did it brilliantly. I think I'm very lucky. I don't think everybody gets to run this with a player that does get to do that role, and Heinrich did do a fantastic job, and it seemed almost like I was co-keepering, which seemed incredibly fitting for this game. playing with Heinrich. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for playing. It's been absolutely amazing. I would love
Oh, thank
to.
you for running it for us, Newman.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
thank you.
not at all. I love running these games for you guys. It's so much fun. And I would also say that as much as I'm running this game, in the background is the wonderful Cosmic Outpost from the Miskatonic Playhouse, who is an absolute gem of a human being. Although I do often think he is my go as well. Who is running everything in the background. So I just get to run a lovely game. He does all the hard work. So Al, XP, Heinrich, I'd love to be able to just run past you once again. Any messages for the rest of MRCon this weekend? There's still like a day and a half to go. Everyone's firing full cylinders. Al, go for it.
Yeah, I'm just Al. Al Smith is where I got all my Miskatonic repository stuff. So just you look up Field of Screams or Cursed or In-Stream C stuff or Victor Frankenstein Reanimator, and you can read some of my stuff. I've got other stuff not on the Miskatonic repository, but you can find that easily if you look for any of those scenarios.
Fantastic. And XP?
Just check me out on YouTube under XPLovecat, and I hope everyone has an awesome time with the con this weekend.
Excellent. Heinrich?
I've been Heinrich Moore. I am on YouTube under Heinrich Moore Presents, but please reach out anytime. I am an editor, I am a proofreader, and I'm someone that you can just bat ideas back and forth with. And if you are interested in being part of a project that we will be launching soon, we are working on an anthology, a scenario anthology called Year of the Goat, a series of scenarios that will celebrate one of our favorite great old ones, Shub-Niggurath. If that sounds of interest to you, reach out to me. I'll let you know where you can send your scenario pitch.
That does sound awesome. That sounds amazing. Well, I'm T.A. Newman, and I'm very, very grateful of this moment to play with you guys and also have this wonderful handover from Heinrich. I'm so looking forward to hopefully living up to Heinrich's expectations next year as we roll into the next MRCon. But make sure this year you get in every game, you get in every panel you can, really experience this community because it's an amazing community. You can find me at the Miskatonic Playhouse. You can find my scenarios under T.A. Newman on the Miskatonic repository, Drive Through RPG. And on that note, we'll say until next time, when the curtain rises again. Thank you all.